You are listening to Lifted You Weight Loss with Annie Jensen, episode number 17, Becoming a Natural Eater in Your Body. Hello, darling. I'm Annie, and I'm here to connect with you. I know we understand each other. We show up, we live hard, and you and I do all of it, carrying the same burden. But here is the most beautiful truth that I've learned over years of struggling with my weight. We do not have to live with this burden. So come with me because you are not alone in this. I'm ready to share everything. My story, my friendship, and every piece of value I've gathered along the way. My purpose is to lift you as you move forward on your own path to light, loving, and lasting weight loss and build something that finally works for you. Darling, there is a life waiting for you on the other side of this process. So let's ease this burden. Let's build what's already within you. Together we'll create a lighter, lifted you. Welcome back, my beautiful friend. Do you remember the opening credits scene of the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Not the Tim Burton one. That one is more eerie. But from 1971, the original one with Gene Wilder. The twisting, shiny chocolate, the rows and rows of perfectly aligned candy, gently dusted with a soft cocoa powder, the flowing, creamy bliss, so close you could almost slide your finger through that screen and into the gooey goodness. I remember watching that as a child so many times. I loved that movie. Except the part where they get on the boat in the chocolate river and they see that creepy video and they cut the chicken's head off in the video. I hated that part. I closed my eyes every time. But the rest of that factory, all the sweets, all the colors, and all the connections that were made in my brain about all of it. The scenes in that movie immersed themselves into my young, developing brain. And of course, all of the lessons we learned from Violet, from Veruca, and my favorite, from Augustus Gloop. And of course, Charlie and his grandpa. We learned so many valuable life lessons from that movie. And that movie most certainly created neural pathways in my mind about food. Now, tell me, what nostalgic movie do you have about learning to listen to the full and the hunger signals that your body gives you? Right, there are none. There was no special movie that taught those childhood lessons to me growing up, and I just didn't learn it well at all. Did you? At a young age, I developed poor eating habits. I used food to cope. I used food to celebrate. Blah, blah, blah. I did it all. Many of us did. My mom is petite and she's naturally thin and she didn't overeat while I was growing up. My dad did struggle with his weight some more as I was growing up, and my family and myself categorized me with him and his genetics. Not in a mean way, but just over the years, that's what happened. And I picked up more of his eating habits growing up than I did of my mom. So I never internalized the skill of using my body to tell me when to eat. So instead of becoming a natural eater, I grew up immersed in adolescent cruelty and in the 90s diet culture. I heavily labeled myself, quote, like my dad, while developing an unhealthy weight identity and an emotional attachment to food. And that followed me into adulthood. That's what happened. Do you see how liberating clarity can feel from the other side? A little side note. But like I'm sure many other American children, I did internalize those scenes of that beautiful flowing chocolate, not just from that movie, but from other areas in my life. And that's okay. That movie, that scene appealed to our senses, and we can have a healthy relationship with that type of thing. We're working on that here. But I missed growing up as a natural eater. I never built that strong connection in my body where it tells me when to start eating and when to stop. But here we are today, and we are going to talk all about that connection, all about becoming a natural eater in your body. And as we move into that connection today, I want to share a quote with you that took my breath away when I read it. This quote comes from the still unverified, nevertheless motivating wisdom of Mary Ann Evans, who you may recognize as her pen name of George Eliot. It is never too late to be what you might have been. Are you kidding me? Whether it was Miss Evans or someone else, whoever penned those words to paper knew what it meant to be future focused. They knew what it meant to have a fresh start every day. They knew the value of believing in new beginnings. Those words take my breath away. That quote is the essence of taking your hard-earned value with you in your life and leaving the rest in your non-existent past. And that is what we are doing as we learn to become natural eaters. So let's take one more step forward here today toward becoming who we might have been were it not for the beautiful messiness that is this life, by learning to become a natural eater in your body. I remember not a terribly long time ago beginning to recognize this healthy body connection of these hunger and fullness cues in other people around me. I'd grown up just believing that I was addicted to food, that I struggled with food, and other people didn't. And I didn't fully take the time to understand why and what that really looked like. But I remember as I was starting to make these changes, I would recognize this in other people around me. I remember my brother-in-law saying, I don't think I really want to eat that right now because I want to be hungry for dinner later. Or I'd have friends who would say, I do not like how that makes me feel. Or I would just notice their personal behaviors and I would notice the why behind their choices or the how behind their choices. And when I started to see that behavior, I started to wonder and think to myself, well, how am I not doing that? Why am I not doing that? And how can I do that? I mean, I got to a place where I feel like I would say yes to any food that looked appealing. My habits, my mental space, my sense of self, all of the things in my mind, my body, and my heart were just in chaos around this topic. Remember, I've called it a battle where my heart wants one thing. I truly want this for myself. I want to be healthier for my family. I can see how my weight is affecting relationships and experiences in my life. My planning, my more intricate brain knows how important this is for me. It sees what I need to do. It tells me what I need to do. It tries to problem solve and to negotiate and to help. My mind and my heart are literally screaming at me to change, as is my body. I was having health issues where my body was screaming at me to make changes. But then my lower brain, my habits, the bugs in my brain, the urges to binge, to overeat, to use food to compensate for everything in my life were so strong. And that's why it feels like a battle. And that's why it sometimes feels hopeless too. But we can't stay there. You can't live there. It's too heavy. It's too hard. So I remember as I was starting to make changes, starting to take baby steps, and where I had gotten to a really bad place in Italy, which I haven't told you about yet, but I will. I started to see the why and the how behind the what that people were doing. And then I started applying it to myself in my own way, how it worked for me. And a hunger scale is just a quiet little whisper in my mind when I'm eating that I use to keep me at a healthy fullness level. And that is what has kept the weight off for me, is staying in that little place. It's eating less food, but my body has adapted and has come to accept this new place of homeostasis for me. So a hunger scale is the practical tool that we're going to talk about today. And when I start coaching again, which I want to, I'm getting there, this will be a main tool that we use together in our group coaching also. Now let's talk about it. When I first learned of the concept of a hunger scale, I felt like a collective another system. I'm not so much of a systems person. I am a type B person with perfectionistic and type A tendencies, we will say. Here's a fun little example for you. I have this giant American flag that I hang on the back of my house around Memorial Day and 4th of July, just in the summertime. It hangs off the deck that goes off my bedroom. It is ginormous. And when my husband bought it for me for Mother's Day, he said, let's have a system for hanging this up and taking it down. Okay, well, I found some big, huge, long shoelaces, and I used shoelaces to tie it to my deck, and I tied it through each of the grommets. And I did it, and he came in and I said, shoelaces. Are shoelaces a system? Okay, I don't want a system. I just want to figure it out and get the final result. A good result. Like I said, type B personality with perfectionistic and type A tendencies. So when I heard the concept of a hunger scale, I was not terribly excited. However, I have learned that you can adapt things to however it works for you. And that's what I've done. The hunger scale that I use originates from the Life Coach School. I learned it through a coach that I worked with, and I believe that's where she got it. So to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to explain it all to you, but you're going to get to a place where you just know it and you know what it means for you and your body. And you're not going to have to think about it very much, but I am going to be thorough in my explanation to you so that you can adapt it and fit it to yourself. This hunger scale is simply a way for you to measure physical hunger and fullness. Okay, your body is going to tell you what that feels like. And the scale ranges from -10 to +10. So you're going to learn to eat based on your body instead of your emotions, your habits, your rules, your external cues. All right, negative numbers are hunger. Positive numbers mean fullness. 0 is neutral. 0 feels good. It feels light. It feels energized. It's a place where you sit and you're not thinking about food. Now, the goal is to usually begin eating around -2 to -4 and to stop eating around +2 to +4. That range right there tends to feel physically comfortable and sustainable in real life. That is where your body wants to be. So if you start making even just that change now, you will slowly lose weight because your body will be operating where it wants to be operating without the excess calories that you have been consuming in the past. Let me describe each of the numbers, each of the ranges, so that you can recognize that and equate it to your body. Okay, a -10 is extreme hunger, starving. It's like physical emergency level hunger. You're going to feel shaky, weak, lightheaded, desperate for food, unable to focus. A diabetic would be in danger in this place. I doubt many of us have been there very often, and I can say I don't even know that I have ever been at that place in my life. And in this place, you're definitely going to overeat quickly. You're going to feel out of control around food. This is too hungry. -7 to -8 is very hungry, strong physical hungry. You're noticing some stomach pain. You've got intense growling. You're irritable. If you have a clinical job like I do, you can't do your job well. You're distracted. You can make decisions and you can push through, but it's hard and you're not in a good place to be taking care of someone else. Okay, -4 to -6, you're clearly hungry, but it's a comfortable, more healthy hunger. Your stomach feels empty. Your hunger is obvious. Your body is asking for fuel. Food sounds good, like a steaming pile of broccoli with a little melted butter and salt on the top is going to sound delicious to you if you're this hungry. Like you ate breakfast at 6:30, it's 12:15, you've been working, you're ready to eat. This is more of an ideal place to start eating. -1 to a -3 is gentle hunger. Early hunger signs. You may notice, oh, I'm starting to feel a little hungry. A slight emptiness. You're having mild thoughts about food because you're starting to feel empty. Your stomach is giving you subtle indications that it's wanting to eat. I like eating in this space because I feel more calm. I can feel more intentional. It's not getting to an emotional place for me. I try to stay between a -2 and a +2. 0, I mentioned, it's neutral. You're physically comfortable. Food might sound good to you, but your body's not really asking for it. Like if people are wanting to eat or go out to eat, you're like, yeah, I could eat. Now we're going to slide to the other side of the scale, which indicates fullness. A +1 to a +2 is where I like to stay. I don't always stay under or at a +2, but that's my goal. You've eaten enough to remove hunger. You feel comfortable, you feel energized, you're mentally clear, and you're able to move. You don't feel full to where you're like, oh, I ate a few too many bites, I can tell. I personally see natural eaters staying in this place, -2, -3 to a +2, maybe a +3. +3 to +4 is comfortably full. You have a pleasant fullness. This is like an after dinner fullness where you haven't had dessert and it's not Thanksgiving. It feels good. It's pleasant. You know you've eaten and you feel content. You feel nourished, but you don't feel heavy. This is another good stopping point. A +5 to a +7 is you are beginning to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel that pressure in your stomach. Your stomach's going to feel distended or tight. You're going to feel sluggish and it's going to make you feel tired. You're starting to feel that like overeating fatigue where you may want to just lie down, take a nap and sleep it off. Okay, this happens more when eating is disconnected from your body signals. It's more emotional eating, or you're distracted, or you're in that this is so good, I don't want to stop place. We've talked about that place where you don't feel like you can stop eating what's on your plate. You don't feel like you can physically stop before all the food is gone. You have eaten in that clean your plate mentality, and it's put you in a +5 to +7 situation. +8 to +10 is like after Thanksgiving, stuffed or painful. You are absolutely uncomfortable. You feel bloated, sick. You have emotional feelings of regret. It's going to make you really tired. You may need to lie down on your stomach and like spread your arms and your legs out to help disperse the pressure a little bit. You're physically miserable. This is that gluttonous after holiday fullness that I don't ever want to feel again in my life. And I actually haven't felt it for a long time. Okay, that is your hunger scale that you can get used to. This scale is not meant to be a source of stress. It is meant to help you. It's a tool. How long may you have lived completely disconnected from your body's hunger cues? I can tell you literally years, here or there. The time in my life where I have let food, habits, my lower brain call the shots has absolutely accumulated to years. So this tool is meant to just help you slow down and notice those natural body systems that you were born with. The goal is to recognize those body cues and to separate physical hunger from emotional urges. To recognize, yes, this is my body telling me that I'm hungry. Or no, this is my heart or my mind using food to compensate for something else, or just to eat because it's a familiar behavior that feels good when we do it. A hunger scale, when you figure it out, what it means and how it works for you, is going to help you stop eating before that pain and discomfort. And it's fluid and flexible enough that it can reduce the black and white food thinking that you may be accustomed to. And one thing that I noticed in other people way before I ever figured it out for myself is that a hunger scale and listening to these body cues has made me recognize and value how food makes me feel. And that is a key component to becoming a natural eater. When you start caring about which food and how it makes you feel and you make decisions based on that, that is so, so awesome. You start to discriminate a little bit and you think, no, you don't get to be in my body just because somebody put it on a table there and it's available to me. Or no, you don't get to be in my body just because I'm stressed out. You don't get to go into my body because it's 9:00 at night and this is what I do. No, you're not going to feel good. You're not going to feel good in my stomach. You're not going to feel good in my feelings, how you make me feel inside, physically and emotionally. A hunger scale just gets you more in touch with yourself. And think, if certain things in life hadn't happened the way they did, this is who you would have been anyway. Remember, this is who we are inside. A natural eater is who you really are. Life is just messy and it's hard, and food has become a way that we have coped and adapted and gotten through. And now we're just accustomed to living that way. But remember, it is never too late to be who you might have been. I love that so much. So remember, the purpose is awareness It's body connections, and it's noticing patterns without any yucky shame or meaning behind what you notice. So pay attention to how you feel right now as you're listening. Give yourself a number. Are you at a positive 4? Did you just eat? And are you like maybe a tiny little bit too full? Or maybe you're hungry. Maybe you don't let yourself get hungry. So you don't really remember what it feels like to be on the negative side of the hunger scale. That's how you can start to apply this to your life, is just start noticing. And you've got to reframe this approach for yourself. You can do this. This can be who you are. You don't have to push and push against old habits. You can just start adapting this new process and let the change roll out from the inside. No matter what neural highways you have in your brain from growing up or adulthood or whatever, you can start to create new ones. And that clarity and new behavior feels so good. Right now, I am at about a -1. I'm like a tiny bit hungry, but I'm fine. I could keep going for a while. We are headed out on a cruise as a family in a few days, and my goal is to not get above a -4 on this cruise. I can do it. I'm excited to report back. It's an Alaskan cruise. It's going to be cold. We're going to have to do a lot of activity and walking. There is the potential to overconsume for sure, but I am not worried about it. I'm not as worried as I ever was in the past. I used to hate vacations. I have told you about that. I'm so happy to not be in that heavy place anymore. That's what I want for you, my friend. So will you just apply this hunger scale to yourself just in some little way this week and figure out a way to make it help you. Think about it lightly and brightly and hopefully and make it useful. Find a way to make it useful. Those tiny steps, those tiny changes are all what add up to you feeling like a natural eater in your heart. When you believe that, when you can see it, that it can happen, that is the place to be. That is the place to be for the rest of your life. And we're getting there. Take a few more steps this week to be who will make you feel light, bright, hopeful, clear, and free. Next week, we'll talk about all of those feelings living inside your heart as you live your life as a natural eater. Take care, my darling. I will see you soon. If you're enjoying the podcast, will you please head over to iTunes and leave a review and rate it so that other people can find it? I don't know how long it's going to take me, but as soon as I get 10 reviews, I am going to draw 4 of you to win a random Venmo deposit, which I know will brighten your day. Come over and let me know your thoughts. I would so appreciate it.